They are one of Hollywood's long-standing unmarried couples. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell have been together since 1983. Hawn was once quoted as, well, saying that she and Russell have never seen a reason to tie the knot. She says she wakes up every day, sees he's there, and knows that she has a choice to stay or to go. I love it. More couples are staying happily unmarried, like Goldie Hawn and Russell and Carol Pence and Anthony Rodriguez. They're here in our studios this morning. I love this story. And Carol, you guys met how many years ago? 25 years ago.
That's it.
Been together 16 years.
That's right.
Never walked down the aisle.
That's right.
Why not?
Well, my poor mother.
Do people ask you that?
All the time.
Why haven't you guys gotten married?
Well, I think Tony says it best.
I think you started out in a really good place with the Goldie Hawn story. We do. We choose every single day to remain together. And I mean, we don't really act like a married couple necessarily. I don't really know what that means, but we act like a loving couple. We enjoy each other's company. We work together as well, so we're with each other pretty much 24/7, 365 days a year.
Well, just talking to you guys before we came back on, you've been married before.
I have.
You've been down that road. So kind of through your past experiences, kind of tell me, what do you notice as the difference of being married and then choosing not to be married?
Well, I don't know that I was particularly ready to be married at that time, and I was married for 7 years, and that didn't go very well for me. And it didn't go very well for her. Now we're both much happier and still friends. But this is 16 years, and it works really well for both of us. So if it's not broke,
why fix it?
Right.
Doesn't need fixing if it's not broke, right?
No.
So let me ask you, have you ever been married before?
No.
Okay, did you ever have dreams as a little girl getting in a wedding gown and walking down the aisle, kind of that, I would say, what is a typical fantasy of all little girls?
I think we were planning on getting married at one time, and my grandmother was extremely sick, and so because my mother was taking care of her for a lot of reasons, it didn't seem like the right time, and so Tony said, we don't have to get married, and let's see what happens. And we run the Aurora Theater in Lawrenceville, and so we just have found that that our audience has been extremely supportive of us just being a great couple. And it's kind of interesting sometimes to hear them explain, because when it's kind of traditional and conservative, and a lot of times they ask us, well, it's like being married, right? And you have to mostly say, no, it's not really like being married. And so it's really nice to watch how caring and giving they are about our relationship, too.
Maybe a question here of just kind of where society is on marriage. You know, we see a lot of these celebrity weddings going on. Kim Kardashian just happens to be the last one. You know, when we hear about the sanctity of marriage, yet we see these people in the Hollywood lives and people out there just kind of getting married to get married, and they're divorced a couple years later. Do you ever maybe see that in your perception as, listen, my bond with my partner, it's a lot stronger than just a marriage certificate? Do you see it that way? Does that play a role? It just seems like everybody just kind of gets married these days, and then they get divorced a couple years later, and they act like it's no big deal.
Right.
I think, you know, the way you live your life tells people a lot. And, you know, you were discussing earlier about people that have been on their third, fourth, or fifth marriage, and I've got several friends like that. Yeah. Is that really better than what we have? I mean, we live a life that most people would say, oh, they're married. They act like they're married. They assume. They assume we're married by the way that we live and the way that we love. Right?
But when we first got together, we didn't do anything they tell you to do. We immediately commingled our bank account. We immediately started living together because he had just gotten out of his marriage. And so he didn't have the finances it was silly for us to split finances. So we did many of the things that we read in retrospect maybe we shouldn't do. But I think the ultimate thing, being friends first, is that you have trust.
And you had a foundation.
Yeah, and we were great friends. I mean, we've been friends for 25 years. And so it was just always a trust issue, and I think that's kind of living together is the same thing, is you trust them to make good decisions on behalf of both of you, and you assume they make good decisions every day when we're working and living together.
Oh, here's another interesting point. So you decided not to get married, but you know what? A lot of gay couples out there, you know, they want the right to get married because of the benefits that come along with marriage that you two don't have.
We don't have those either.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
We're sort of in the same
boat
there.
Do you ever think about that? That, you know, marriage comes with benefits, tax benefits. You know, if he passes, you'd be right there with him. You'd be able to, maybe be the executor, whatnot. Marriage comes with benefits. You don't want that?
Well, hopefully we will get to a point in America where we have equal rights for all. And if we come to that point pretty soon, then maybe that's the way Anthony and I'll celebrate. Because I think until everybody has the same rights, maybe it's okay that we're just doing our thing. And we employ so many gay actors and gay technicians and creative artists. I think that's our way of letting them know that we are very supportive of whatever lifestyle they choose.
You know what, I'm just so interested. We probably did a whole show on it. So when did it turn for you guys? You guys were friends. They always say it's always to be good friends before you get married to somebody. When did it turn for you guys? You guys known each other for 25 years.
Well, my mother had just passed away, and that sort of brought to a climax all of the, I'm not happy in my marriage, this isn't the place I want to be, this isn't the life I want to live, I'm miserable, you're miserable, we need to find a better place for both of us. And somewhere within that misery, I was like, well, I need somebody I can just talk to, that I can drink with, that will sit there silently, if whatever, and just hear me whine.
I'm not very silent.
Right, yeah, you're not usually.
She's going through that checklist. She's like, yep, not many of those.
And so I called Aunt Carol, who's who I've known for a long time and was always a great friend and a great shoulder to lean on. And then it sort of went from there. She was actually in a relationship at the time that she sort of said, I need to set that on hold.
She's like, you're not supposed to bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I like it.
We bring everything up.
Hey, it's a great story. And when when you're in the heat of a moment, you get into a fight, you can't say, at least we'll get divorced or I'm going to divorce you. Right?
That's it.
Can never use that one as
There
an
you
excuse.
go.
I love the story. And Carol and Anthony, thanks for coming on the show and talking to us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming down.
Interesting. But after all those years, you don't need a marriage certificate and don't need to walk down the aisle to be happy. I like it. All right, coming up next, the flip side. Many gay couples, they want the right to be married just like everyone else. We're going to meet a couple that is fighting to have the same rights. Stay with us.